Hello, I'm Ronald Wimbley, and you're listening to Forced Valor Radio. Today we'll be talking about how, on June 6, 1944, Brandon Herrera, a boisterous YouTuber armed with a period-correct World War II uniform and a buzz from too many drinks, stumbles off a landing craft onto what he believes is Normandy, ready to take on the invasion with his trusty M1911A1 and unyielding patriotic fervor. This story is titled Storming the Beaches of Nova Scotia. It was June 6, 1944, or so Brandon Herrera thought as he stumbled out of the landing craft, boots sloshing into the icy surf after a long day drinking and filming tiny guns in a period-correct World War II uniform. The first soldier off the boats, they'd later call him, though soldier might have been generous for a man 3 Bud Lights deep and clutching a half-empty white claw like it was his last will and testament. The invasion of Normandy was underway, and Private Herrera was ready to liberate France, 145 slug at a time. The beach was chaos, or at least it sounded like it through the alcoholic haze. Waves crashed, men shouted, and somewhere in the distance a German machine gunner was turning the sand into a lead-filled piñata. Brandon, squinting through aviator sunglasses he swore were tactical, hefted his M1911A1, the only gun he trusted because over-penetrations for suckers, he slurred to no one in particular. With the grace of a man who'd pre-gamed D-Day like it was a frat party, he staggered forward, tripped over a sandbag, and somehow landed in a perfect Weaver stance. Blam, 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 3 shots rang out, and the machine gunner slumped over his MG-42 like a rag doll who'd just lost a bar bet. "That's how we do it in America," Brandon hollered, waving his pistol like a conductor's baton as his squad scrambled past him. They didn't stop to thank him, probably because they were too busy dodging imaginary bullets or wondering why their point man smelled like a brewery explosion. Undeterred, Brandon cracked open another White Claw, chugged it, and crushed the can against his helmet. "For freedom!" he bellowed, before burping loud enough to wake a coma patient. He spent the next hour weaving through the dunes, alternately shooting at shadows and yelling at his squad to keep up your commie lightweights. He lobbed a grenade at what he thought was a pillbox. Turned out it was a seagull, but the explosion was patriotic as hell anyway. By noon, he'd claimed to have taken out 2 panzers with nothing but his sidearm and a pocket knife, though no one could confirm it because they were too busy laughing at him trying to reload with a beer bottle. And then, just as Brandon was about to plant an American flag he'd inexplicably brought along in his rucksack, a voice cut through the chaos. "Oi, mate, what the bloody hell are you doing?" Brandon spun around, M1911A1 leveled, only to see a fisherman in a raincoat holding a cod bigger than his head. Behind him, a rickety pier stretched out into the foggy bay, and a sign loomed through the mist. "Welcome to Nova Scotia, Canada's ocean playground." Brandon blinked. The German machine gunner, a drunk hunter with a deer rifle, the panzers, tractors hauling lobster traps. The beach he'd stormed wasn't Normandy, it was some godforsaken stretch of Canadian coastline, and D-Day was still 1,000 miles across the Atlantic. Turns out, Brandon's boat had veered off course after he'd borrowed the helm to show these nerds how to drift. The invasion was a hallucination, fueled by cheap booze and cheaper bravado. "Aw, hell," Brandon muttered, holstering his pistol. "Guess I liberated Nova Scotia instead. Close enough." He cracked open his last Bud Light, saluted the confused fisherman, and stumbled off to find a bar. Because if there's one thing Brandon Herrera knew, it was how to turn a wrong turn into a war story. And the guys fashioned him a manly freedom medal from the top from one of his beers. This story idea came from the user at Braxton Latray via our website at forcedvalor.com. Submit your story idea, and if your idea is used, we'll mention you when we publish it. Again, I'm Ronald Wimbley, and you've been listening to Forced Valor Radio. For more content like this, visit forcedvalor.com. Stay tuned here for further episodes of Forced Valor Radio. And always, please like and subscribe.